Free agents are a massive part of every sport, but have been most important to the NFL over the last month or so. There are still so many free agents remaining, but which ones are the best right now? Well, stay tuned to today's video, as we're going to discuss the best remaining NFL free agents right now, from Odell Beckham Jr. on down. Number 8, wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. recently agreed to a one-year deal with the Rams just last November, as he was jettisoned by the Browns. It's amazing what could happen to someone when you put a player in an optimal position to succeed. From the 10th week through the postseason, he had caught around 48 passes on 70 targets for 593 yards and 7 touchdowns. During the game against the Bengals, he was a real problem for them. However, he suffered a torn ACL early on in that game, which stopped his domination over them. His signing might not be an imminent thing, but he's ready to go for the first half of the 2022 season. There are some contenders up against him, but many of the other companies will be lining up outside of his door with cash in hand, ready to buy him back. He has the ability to help you define your passing game by taking down the top defense on the enemy's team. He's definitely someone a team should pick up, so we can't wait to see what happens to him in his career this year. Number 7, wide receiver, Will Fuller. There's only one thing that has prevented Will Fuller from becoming one of the most terrifying deep receivers on a consistent basis in the NFL. That is the fact that he cannot stay healthy and chooses not to follow a strict regime. He was selected in the 2016 draft by the Texans out of Notre Dame and has never managed to suit up for any of the 16 or 17 games throughout the season. He was signed by the Dolphins in a one-year deal back in 2021 and played for just 3 games before he had a finger injury, which ended his season. Fuller was then paired with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, but he wasn't exactly known for his deep ball. In the end, Fuller was just not a great pick for the Dolphins, and he just basically did nothing compared to his time with the Texans. Currently, there are no teams that need a good deep receiver, so Will Fuller will sit on the sidelines right now as a free agent. It's a sad thing to see, but hopefully Fuller gets his playing time soon. Number 6, offensive tackle, Jason Peters. Jason Peters is someone who should be off this list much sooner than everyone else, as he's going to be getting picked up by the Cowboys pretty soon. The last time we heard about his career, he was about to start a meeting with the Cowboys to discuss the possibility of him replacing Tyron Smith as Dallas Cowboys left tackle. Currently, Jason Peters is 40 years old, meaning he is entering his 18th NFL season and will probably be retiring pretty soon. He still can get things done at a decent level, as he's worked through injuries in the past. He doesn't have the most ideal numbers compared to many other offensive tackles, but all of his issues have never really been his fault, as he's just been on the wrong teams at all the wrong places at the wrong time. At this point in his career, how athletic can you really be at 40 years old? Either way, we should be seeing him reach the end of his career pretty soon. Hopefully, he can go out with a bang. Number 5, offensive tackle, Eric Fisher. Fisher had what could be seen as an off year for the Colts in 2021, per Pro Football Focus. He allowed 7 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, and 23 quarterback hurries in 490 pass blocking reps. But Fisher was dealing with a new system after 8 seasons with the Chiefs, and that showed up on the field. Fisher allowed 4 of those sacks and 17 of his 41 total pressures in the first month of the season. After that, well, he looked like him. You also have to factor in that he was protecting a random pocket mover in Carson Wentz, and it takes a minute to figure that out. Fisher was perfectly fine when protecting another random pocket mover in Patrick Mahomes. Fisher is still a plus pass protector, and he's specifically effective when asked to move up to the 2nd and 3rd levels to hunt defenders who are in his way. Per ESPN's Ed Werder, Fisher wants to play in 2022, and he has turned down offers from 9 teams already. Teams in need of a good left tackle should hope that Fisher's selectiveness would not exclude their efforts to obtain his services. Number 4, defensive lineman, Sheldon Richardson. Sheldon Richardson was chosen as the 13th overall pick back in the 2013 draft out of Missouri. During the same year, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year and then made the Pro Bowl the following year. After his rise during the peak season, he went from a cornerstone of a franchise to a mercenary in an abrupt hurry. By the time his season with Gang Green had ended, Sheldon Richardson had signed around 4 different contracts. Since 2017, he has played in Seattle, Cleveland, and Minnesota twice. Back in 2021, Richardson had 4 sacks, 22 quarterback hurries, 11 quarterback hits, 24 stops, and 7 tackles for loss. He established himself as a very good plus player inside, but clearly no team needs him right now. If there is a team out there that needs a multi-gap rotational disruptor who can consistently get things done, they should definitely pick him up. He may not be as good as other names like Aaron Donald or Cameron Hayward, but he's better than most. Number 3, defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh. In 2021, his 12th NFL season, Suh had 7 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 22 quarterback hurries, and 18 stops. He didn't play at his ultimate level when he was terrorizing the NFL with the Lions early in his career, but he still proved to be a valuable rotational force. This after his 4th quarter against the Chiefs in Super Bowl 55, when he was basically unblockable. Suh seems to be gauging the interest of NFL teams at this point, and he's lobbed a few entreaties into that general direction. The Raiders could be fun indeed. Imagine Suh wrecking things inside with Max Crosby and Chandler Jones doing the same outside. I think new Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham could make that work. In any event, Suh still provides value at this point in his career, and teams in need of reinforcement in the interior defensive line should take notice. Number 2, linebacker Anthony Hitchens. Hitchens was released by the Chiefs back in February of 2022 to open up around $8.4 million in cap space. Since then, he has been on the open market. Back in 2021, it was totaled that he had 5 quarterback pressures, 7 tackles for loss, 29 stops, 65 tackles, and even allowed 27 catches on around 36 targets for 289 yards. Coverage hasn't always been his best thing, but if you need someone who is a smart linebacker, then Hitchens is your man. Just like many of the guys on this list, they aren't the best in their category, but they are definitely good enough to pick up if you need someone to fit that purpose. His 2021 season showed just how good he can be. Finally, number 1, safety Landon Collins. 2019 saw Washington sign Collins, who at the time was a former Giant safety star. They signed him to a 6-year, $84 million contract with around $34 million guaranteed. 3 years later, they managed to cut him loose and release Collins in March of this year. Despite the massive and insanely expensive contract, he never managed to play a full season. This was a mix between his own limitations and the ways that the offensive staff of Washington had been built up. This was never really going to work out as everyone hoped before he signed the contract. Even with everything going on last season, Collins had a pretty good time. He had 6 total pressures, 2 sacks, 30 stops, 58 tackles, and 2 interceptions against 4 touchdowns. He definitely fits into his own niche for many NFL teams, but if they're looking to fortify their defense, he's definitely the man for them. He's a great contender for one of the best defenders right now, and is a great pick for many teams if they need him. And that's the end of our list for the NFL's best remaining free agents, from Odell Beckham Jr. to Landon Collins. There are definitely many other players that are in free agency right now, so hopefully they get picked up before we make another list. Let us know down in the comments section below your thoughts about our list of these free agents, and also tell us if there are any others we should have mentioned. So that's a wrap for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, please let us know down in the comments section. It would be very helpful. Make sure to like this video, comment, and of course, subscribe to the channel with the notification bell rung. Thank you for watching today's video. Bye!